Isn't
So,
Illustrator pinned to your bottom?
no, I don't have it in there yet. No.
Okay, so then you'll want to go to, yes, applications, and then you're going to want to find Illustrator and drop and drag it. So
I'll drag it.
you'll see a folder. You've got to go into the Illustrator folder and then drag the icon that is the executable link, right?
Where am I dragging it to?
You're dragging it to the dock. So you have to go into this folder, right?
Oh, let me see what
2020.
you're doing. Like I tried doing that.
Go into the folder and drop and drag it onto the dock.
I want it open.
It's not going to open, Karen. You're going to drag and drop it. Right? You're going to go into 2020. This is a folder icon with this little tab. So you're going to open Adobe Illustrator 2020. And then this is the icon that you're going to drop and drag onto the dock.
I did. It's not dragging. Like I don't see it.
This icon? You don't see this icon?
Yeah, I tried. I did that.
Karen, do you see this icon?
Okay, hold on. Maybe I was in the wrong. Okay, I got it now. Okay.
Okay.
I figured it out.
If you drag it to the dock down here, it'll always stay.
Okay.
Right? So if you dragged it down there, there it'll stay. So we're going to say create new in Illustrator.
So click into.
And then
I gotta open it first.
Correct. You're gonna open it. And we're gonna make this as a landscape letter.
Yeah, wait, it's taking a second.
So this is landscape, right? And this is portrait. Portrait, landscape. So portrait looks like a photograph, right? A portrait. That's how they define paper, right? You either set your work up as a portrait or landscape, like a, like we're working with these horses is more of a landscape because it's more land-based, right? Wider. So it's wide.
Mine's not downloading. Something else is popping up. Like, I don't.
What do you mean? Can you share your screen?
Yeah.
I don't understand what is.
I don't either.
What's it?
I don't either. Hold on.
So we only have two things open. One is Photoshop and one is Illustrator. Anything else that you might have open, you might, if you've got other files or things open, you might want to shut them down.
Well, I'm sharing.
So what is oh, yeah, well, you're not signed in. So click sign in, Karen. Click on the button that says sign in. And then type in your name. Right?
I was signed in.
I don't know. So
okay.
You just sort of have to respond to whatever the directions are when that stuff happens, okay?
Yeah. I gotta go get the quote. Hold on.
Pardon?
Hold on a minute. Miss Wakey, I got the snow you were just talking about.
Oh, did you go take a peek?
When I sign in, so hold on a minute. I gotta get into there.
You went and saw the sun, and it's it's snowing and sunny here at the same time.
It's kind of cloudy here. I wondered why it was so cold today. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. This is late.
I missed some of the TED Talk because my computer froze, but I had to restart it.
All right, well, I'll send you the link, or I'll post that link up if you'd like to see it. They are pretty amazing illustrations with photography. So those are fun to see. Okay, Karen, you all set?
Yeah, so now I should be able to sign in. Just click out of there now?
Yeah,
Just close
that particular box. Right.
Okay.
Launch Illustrator, right? Click on it.
Yeah, hold on.
Now, you're logged in because see up in the upper right-hand corner with that affinity-looking symbol, the Creative Cloud?
Still saying the same thing. What the heck?
Wait, just stop. Wait, why did you click on that? I need to read that. Close that. Click on it again, Karen. I have to read that. So what does this say? Click more. You're clicking more info. Just say okay. Why are you're asking for more info.
Yeah, but Illustrator's not opening.
Try it one more time. You might have to click on it. To work correctly, Adobe Illustrator requires the preference folder permission to be read-write, read-only.
I say I don't
Say
understand. Should I
okay.
try
All right,
redoing this?
let's click back to your Finder. Click on your Finder. I don't know if you go to Applications. See, you have you have that Adobe Illustrator, right? Wait. Click in there. Double click, Karen. Double click. You got to double click on the folder, Karen. Open the folder. Click. Okay, click on that. Just click on it. Double click.
Oh,
Double click real fast. Oh, say okay. I don't know. In the upper right-hand corner of your screen, Karen, see that infinity symbol? Click on that. Yes, click on that. And it says that you're logged in. Click on, yeah, open it that way. Say okay. Huh. Click on that again and do a screenshot of that. Click on that. Say open. And then do a screenshot. Command-Shift-4, right? Press Command-Shift-4 at the same time and good. Click on it, drag it over, and then you're going to send that to me. You're going to have to email that to me. Huh. We got to get that fixed by next class.
Can we just cancel out of this for a minute?
Yeah, we can't.
Oh, I don't understand why it's not.
Yeah, I don't know why either. Try it one more time. What are the preferences? Click on it one more time. Karen, try to launch it again. Yeah, all right. So what does this say?
To work correctly, Adobe requires preference folder permission to be read, write, current permission settings incorrectly, set to read only. What does that mean?
Can you other students get on to your Illustrator?
Mine can, but I'm right, Doc.
And yours is okay, right, Kaya?
Yeah.
Assad, are you okay?
Yeah, I just didn't create. I had the letter and was it landscape or whatever, but I just didn't create it yet. I didn't press create.
Oh, okay, well, just press create. So, Karen, you're just going to have to watch on this one. We're just going to, and then we'll get this fixed by next class, okay? I'll do a quick tutorial on this.
All right. This number you share?
Yeah, oh yeah. And this is being recorded, so you'll be able to see. Yeah, I don't know why that is. So we're gonna file place.
Miss Wiki, mine says 2019. I don't have 2020 for Illustrator, so I'm wondering if that's why.
Maybe that's why. But why is it coming up 2020 and 2019 is not showing? No, I don't understand.
Know,
you might have to re-download it.
No, we don't download it. I have 2020 and 2019. I have double of every software. You cannot download anything on these machines. If they're from the college, do not download. That's our IT people.
Oh, here comes the snow.
Oh, you guys are getting the snow now.
I don't have any snow.
Well, it's snowing I'm in Orchard Park, so it's sunny now. But it was just snowing and all the snow melted. Okay, so we're in Photoshop. Let's go to Photoshop. Karen, you can do this, right? Your Photoshop open, so go to Photoshop.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and who else? So I'm going to have to kind of change my lesson real quick, but we're going to check out
the patch tool in Photoshop has a lot in common with content-aware fill and the healing brush. Let's see how we might use this tool to remove one of the horses in the background. I'm going to start off by making a copy of the background layer by choosing Command-J on the Mac or Control-J on Windows, and this is just so that I can keep the retouching from the patch tool on a separate layer. Working with the patch tool always starts with a selection of the area that you want to patch. You can use any of the selection tools to create this, or you can also use the patch tool itself as a lasso for the first step. So let's come over here to the toolbar and choose the patch tool. And what I'm going to do is drag a loose lasso selection with the patch tool around this horse in the center background. Up in the options bar for the patch tool, I have two different methods that I could use, normal or content aware. I'm going to leave this set to normal for now. And in normal mode, you can choose to patch either the source or the destination. Let's start off with the destination. And what destination refers to is where you drag these selected pixels. So essentially, it's going to make a copy of these pixels and blend them in wherever you choose to move them. So let's drag this horse over to the right side here. And you can see that it's created a very convincing blend of moving that horse over there. I'm going to undo that by choosing Command Z or Control Z on Windows. And now let's set this to source. So what the source is referring to is what we started with, this selection here. And to create the patch, you drag this selection over to an area that has good detail. Let me drag it over here to the same area just because I have a lot of background detail over there. And something like that looks pretty good. That's not working as well as I would hope, mainly because there are some differences in the background that aren't lining up. And there's also some differences to the clarity of the details in the background and the brightness and the contrast of that area. And that's because these two horses, which are having an obvious disagreement, are kicking up quite a lot of dust in this area here between them. And that dust is obscuring the details in the background. It's also affecting the contrast and the brightness. So because of that, this area over here on the right is not really working as well as I would hope to create a good patch. So again, let me undo that. And I think I need to approach this in a different way. So I'm going to get rid of that selection. And what I'm going to do is use this detail between the dark brown horse and the lighter horse in the background as the patch. But I don't have enough room here to create the patch in one step, so I have to break it up into two steps. So let me make a selection of the back half of the horse. And I think I'm going to change the patch method to content aware. I think that that's going to do a little bit better job. And let me drag this over here, and I'm going to make sure I line up the band of grasses there. Yeah, that's definitely working. Let's make another selection of the front half of the horse and drag it in the same place. Again, I'm going to make sure I line up that band of grasses there. All right, that's definitely something I can work with. However, since I was copying the same bit of detail twice, I do have some repeating elements showing up. So I'm going to fix those with the clone stamp tool. I will Option or Alt click to sample areas that I can then brush over and just obscure the fact that we do have these repeating details here in the background. And even these tufts of grass need to be adjusted a little bit. So it's always good to cast a discerning eye on the area that you have been retouching just to make sure that you don't have any areas where there are obvious repeating details. All right, I think that that's going to work pretty well. Let's turn that retouching layer off and on there by clicking on its eye icon. So of the several retouching tools in Photoshop that you can use for removing objects from an image, which one you use will depend on the specific details in the image and the capabilities of the tool. As we saw in this project using the patch tool and the clone stamp, sometimes the best approach may be to use multiple retouching tools.
Okay, so that was a little video, and now we're going to go into our file. The first thing that we want to do is to make a duplicate of this layer. So we can do a drop down here to duplicate layer or press Command J. And
Wait, what are we doing? I'm not, we're into,
we're in layers, so we want to
okay.
duplicate the layer. Whenever you retouch a photo, you always want to have your original. So your original usually stays in the background, and you can turn the eyeball off if you want. So two ways to do that: Command J or go click duplicate layer. Right from the click from the lines here. It's a little quick pop out. So you got two layers here, Karen?
Yes.
Okay, everyone got two layers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So the tools in question that we're going to deal with, and Karen, I don't know if your toolbar is like this. You might want to have it side by side.
Oh, okay.
So that, you want
Yeah,
to,
side by side.
side by
Okay.
side is sometimes easier on this. So
Okay.
the clone stamping tool is here, right? And then we have our patch. Where's our patch hiding? Here's our patch. It's under the it looks like a Band-Aid. So when you click on this whole toolbar up here, the whole drop down
I have to watch it first because it keeps
toolbar
clicking back.
gives you the options. Well, can you click on this button? It's called the patch tool.
Which one is it under?
They look like little Band-Aid spot healing brush tool.
Patch tool. Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
what he was talking about is you're going to make a circle all the way around this horse, right? One loop. You're going to be sort of close to this horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to look something like this.
All the way around it?
Yes, Karen, it's got to make that full, totally all the way around.
That was with the lasso tool, right?
No, the patch
The
tool.
patch.
Not the lasso tool, the patch tool. And we're going to choose destination. Right?
Yeah, I have destination, source destination.
And
Okay.
then drag your horse over to the right back here.
How do you do that?
You click on it and drag it to the right. This has to say destination.
It didn't.
All right, Karen, so this is highlighted, right? Karen, your horse is highlighted, right? It's got the marching ants.
Right.
Destination is chosen, right?
Yes.
This is what your cursor looks like because you're in the patch tool, right?
Yes.
You're going to click and drag it over to the right.
But the picture didn't show up. Like, I'm like, oh, nothing shows. Why is that?
Are you moving the marching ants selection? Karen,
What?
you're in this tool, right? The patch tool?
Yes.
This says destination and you're on the top layer, right? The top layer is selected.
Yes.
And then you made a marching ants or the selection and you click on this horse and you click and drag, you're clicking and dragging and then you let go.
Yeah, I did, and then no picture shows.
Let's share your screen and let's see what you got.
All right, hold on a second. Waiting for it to load. Is it showing up?
You gotta click on destination, not source. It's at the top.
Oh.
Which one is that? I click on.
Yep.
Yeah,
Click on destination.
destination, Karen. Yeah, destination. Now click and drag.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All right.
yeah. Now you got
I
it.
didn't click on anything, so I just saw destination and I just moved it. That's all I did.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah, I'm pretty
Sorry
sure I
about
said
that.
destination. No, that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. I just have to. You're gonna stop sharing.
Okay. Okay.
And where is my? No,
Can I click off that horse now? So it's not the marching anthem showing?
No, we're gonna still use that.
Oh,
So
okay.
keep that horse active. You can go to edit, to transform, to scale. Edit, transform, scale. And then
Okay.
actually scale this horse.
Smaller?
Yeah. So this
Okay.
horse can be like way in the back. And if you click off of it or deselect, you know, that horse is there. It doesn't, the one thing it can't do is it can't hold that source info. See how it looks fake?
Mm-hmm.
So you can scale, you can do multiple things, but you really would want your picture to be in good shape. So I'm going to click undo, right? And the cool thing about, now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm doing multiple undos now in Photoshop 2020. Multiple undos can happen now in Photoshop, where before it used to be you had to manually click through here, but now you can do a Command Z backwards. Okay?
How did you move the horse?
It's got to be, so when you choose in the patch, you got to make sure that this says destination. It might not look clicked down, and that's how you move
Okay.
it. So you're going to end up deleting that. Delete that horse and then deselect once you have that. We don't want that horse there.
So just get rid of it?
Yeah, but did you notice when that horse was there that how it toned? Let me get that back up. See how this horse, this is kind of cool. So I'm going to deselect this. Do you see the value of how this software intuitively changed this horse to this type of color? Where it's darker, maybe there's more green or darker browns here. And here it tinted it with a green to pick up the color from the background. So it corrected this for you. So it's kind of cool that it was able to do that. So I'm going to go back and not have that horse there. And I'm going to deselect so this horse is not selected. So we'll select the horse again with our patch tool. You're going to just, scroll around. This isn't going to hurt you to reselect it if you unselected it, right? Because you'll be doing this for a lot of times, right?
Okay, so do
So,
patch thing again.
Yep. And now we're going to do source, not destination, and you're going to move the horse, right?
You want us to go around the horse again?
Yep. Go around the horse. And this time, source is selected. So it's kind of hard to see that that's selected, but it is selected. Source, Karen. Click on the word source.
Okay.
And now we're going to click and drag this source over to here.
Over to where? Over the other side, to the right?
Yes. And then deselect. So it's got to be source, and what happens is this information on the right replaced.
I was doing something wrong. It's like, right?
What do you mean? Your horse is selected, right, Karen?
Yeah, but
source is, look, Karen, your horse is selected. Source is picked, right?
I can't see the screen.
You can't see my screen?
No, because there's letters over it.
What letters?
Like participant says GRAD230. I can't.
What? I don't understand. Where there's no
Okay,
letters.
now we can see. So click on. I did click on source.
Right. So source is clicked, and then you click and drag your horse to the far right of the graphic, just like the guy showed in the video. Right? You dragged it to the right onto the other side of that brown horse into the grass.
Yeah, okay.
So
But
now,
I still see the horse. Oh my god.
where do you see the horse?
On the left side?
Well, did you make sure that you chose source up here on the top? Is
Yeah.
you use destination. Destination is clicked. We want to use source. So you still have destination picked because you shouldn't see the horse. And this says normal, Karen. The patch is normal. This is source. And you drop and drag from left to right.
I did that. The source is.
All right, share your screen again. And let's figure this out.
All right.
Okay, so it says source, right? So drop and drag your horse, right, to the right. Move it to the right. Let go. You have another patch in there. That's why. Go up. Go all the way up on your history. You somehow have double. Keep going. Up, up, up. Go way up. Yes, click. Click. Keep going all the way to the very top. To the very top one, Karen. Click on that. Good. Now make a new, press Command J. Press Command and the letter J. Okay, so now use the patch tool and go around that horse. Go around the horse. I think what happened is you had double images from somehow.
Okay.
Okay, so source is picked. You're gonna click on the horse and drag it to the right. Let go. Okay, now deselect, Command D. Okay, so this is what he was talking about where you see the information, it doesn't look right, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell that there was a change here because this is clean and this is dusty. So we didn't want that. So we're going to undo that, right? So you can do Command D. And we're back to our horse. We're going to zoom in on our horse right here, right?
Okay.
We're zooming in. So we're gonna highlight just half of the horse, right? You're gonna use the
Should I hit
patch tool.
should I deselect it?
Yes, deselect. Command D, very good. And now we're going to just select half of the horse. So we're
With
gonna
the patch
highlight,
thing.
yep, half of the horse.
Okay.
You know, and I might even want to go a little bit further, so I didn't get truly half of the horse.
Okay.
Oh shit.
So we just want half of the horse, and we're going to click and drag it over here to the right.
So should it be on, just click it? Okay, just click it.
Click and drag, right? You don't want to be into the next brown horse, though.
Oh.
And you sort of, they wanted the lines of the grass to line up as well. So if you did it, you know, maybe undo it and try to get the lines of the grass to line up. Right? So we lost that part of the horse, correct?
Like that maybe?
I can't see what you have, but does it look like mine?
Yeah, a little bit, yes.
Okay. And then you're going to reselect this other part of the horse, and you want to kind of be close, you know.
Do I deselect the ants right now while I'm doing that?
Yeah, always, right? You got when you reselect, and then you're going to drag this one to the left.
Okay, hold on.
And then you're going to try to line the lines up. And then deselect. So now we got rid of that horse altogether. How'd
Okay.
you do? How'd you do? Okay?
Yeah, I can share it.
No, well, if it looks
It's
like
fine.
mine, is it
Well,
okay?
there's a little brown in between, like in the back, but then
Well, let's
Just-
share it then, Karen, because
okay.
you don't want to have any brown, right? That's the
Mhm.
idea. We don't want any brown because you
Right.
want to make these like not be seen.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Like right in
Yeah,
here.
undo. Just undo. I don't know what happened. Undo. So undo again. Undo again. Undo again. Okay. Drag that over to the right or to the left. Drag it over to the left. To the left. Not into the horse though, right? And get the lines to pair up. Karen, bring it down. You got to find those lines, right? So see, Karen, you went too far down. Go up, Karen. We're looking at the lines of the grass, right? You got to pair them up. So bring that up, Karen.
I know, I'm trying not to go into the horse, though.
Karen, just
What?
pay attention to the lines, right? Pay attention to the lines of the grass. And don't go too close to that brown horse. Bring it out, Karen. Yeah, bring it out and then down. And line up those pieces of grass. Right, it's close. Okay, let go. Let go.
I
Okay.
did.
All right, now deselect, and line that horse. Don't get so close to the horse where it's faded, right?
Yeah.
Get closer, Karen. So see, you left information there, so you're going to have to circle it. Do you see it up on towards the top? Yeah, circle that. So highlight that. Good. And then no. Get the whole horse. Deselect.
The
You're
whole,
going to get
right
the
up
whole
on here.
horse. But include that information that you missed. So move your mouse to the left. Move your mouse to the left. Left. Move. Okay, now start your circle. Because you got to kind of get that information that's fuzzy there. Stay really close to the horse, yeah. Okay, but not so much on the feet. We don't really have to worry about that.
Oops.
No, yeah, okay, keep going. Go. Okay. Okay, so
Okay.
click and drag it to the left, Karen. Now line up the lines, Karen. Keep going to the left, Karen. Keep going, Karen, because you still see the horse, right? Line up the lines. Wait, not into the horse though. So bring that down. Bring it down till those all line up. See?
Okay.
It's pretty close. Let go. And deselect. Okay. All right. So it's close, right? So it
Yeah,
looks
looks
fake,
better.
right? Because we can see those lines. So we're going to have to clean those lines up. Okay. So this is when we take this clone stamping tool, right? See the clone stamping tool?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to get a fairly good sized brush. So my brush is going to be in the 50s, right? It's going to be a soft brush. So in the 20s. And you kind of want to get rid of these repeating tufts. So some of you might have repeating tufts in here. So
What do you
you're
mean by
gonna,
what do you mean by what does that mean?
Karen, can you see my picture?
Yeah.
All right, see how this shape, I'm drawing the shapes. They're like little wigwams here, teepees.
Okay.
They're repeating, and that's because I picked it up. It's over and over again. I picked it up from the other picture. So I'm going to get rid of that. Because a trained eye would see that. So I'm going to look, Karen, I'm over here on the left-hand side.
I'm looking.
And I'm going to click and hold on my option button, right? And then I click once with my mouse. Can you do that? You got the little bullseye, right? And you clicked with the option button to get it?
Yeah.
Okay, now move your mouse a little bit to the left and then click and draw, right? We're just going to draw out some of that tough stuff.
Do I have to be on the paintbrush to do that though?
No, Karen, the clone stamping tool.
I am. It says could not use the clone stamp because the area code has not been defined. What does that mean?
Yes,
Did I do
because you
something
gotta
wrong?
press the option button. Press the option button and click. Over here, Karen, on the right-hand side here, click the option button and click with your mouse because it looks like a bullseye, correct?
Yeah.
Click and then let go of your option button and your mouse.
Okay.
You're going to move your mouse a little bit over to the left, and then you're going to drag your mouse to the left to where that horse was. Okay? How'd you do? Did you do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Let's zoom in on the horse itself. This dark brown horse. It has all kinds of imperfections here on the horse's hide. So we're going to use some tools here to correct that. So we're going to use the spot healing brush. That's located where the patch brush is. So let's click on the spot healing.
Okay.
And then you're going to just sort of mouse over some of these scratches on the horse.
Oh, all right, let me try
wanna
that.
have a
I have to
fairly
like
good,
click back and forth to see what you're doing.
you know, have it like a size 14 brush. And this is spot healing. So you're just going to drag it over these scars on the horse. So this is called spot healing. How'd you do? You okay?
Yeah.
You just
Just
do
go
little
over some of the
sweeps.
scratches.
Little sweeps, yep, little sweeps. Right? Not big sweeps, not real long lines. Just
Okay.
right over where the errors are. So that's called spot healing. We went over this a couple weeks ago. I just want to make sure that you guys are okay with that. We good with the spot healing?
Yeah.
There's another one called the healing brush tool. Grab that next one. And we'll go.
Healing, what is it called?
It's called the healing brush tool.
Healing.
It's the second one down, okay? And then we're going to go over to the left horse. And you're just going to drag this over on the left horse. See how it looks a little bit different? It just fuzzes everything up. So it's not as like this healing or the healing brush tool is not as, on some scratches it'll work. You might have to be really small. It might have to be very small and you have to be zoomed in right on where the problem is, right?
I'm just watching you for a second, see what I get the idea.
It's important that you do this. This isn't like watch all the time.
I know.
Okay, that's okay. I just want to make sure that you're doing this. So some of these tools are good, some of them are not so good. So I had the healing brush tool and the spot healing. I'm not a big fan of the spot healing unless it's a really small brush, right? So you want a really, really small brush to use that spot healing and maybe not so hard. And you just want to go over a little bit of the lines. Then it's not so bad because it gives like a little fuzzy edge to it. The healing brush is, and you want to keep those kind of small and soft, right? When you go over those lines, it depends on your picture, but the healing brush seems to be a better brush. So if you had red eyes, so we don't have red eyes in this picture, but if we did, maybe this horse does have a little red eye. You can actually use this red eye tool around and like highlight the eyeball, and it'll actually tone that eye down. It'll take the red out. So it's like a little triangle or a square it'll bring out.
And what is that one under, Miss Mikey?
Same tool brush.
Oh.
Who is zipping along there?
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, I'm going to show you now the content aware tool. So I'm still up in this horse's face now. Here's the content aware move tool. Can you click on that one?
Where is it?
Where the patch tool is.
Okay.
We're just doing those tools today. So we did spot healing, patch, content. Now we're doing content, and we did the red eye. So we're going to do content. So if you highlight some of these scuffs on this horse, and then you click and drag it to the right, it'll actually copy that. So if I press enter, it moved it over here. So this can actually move information. So this is a series of clicking and moving. Just real small pieces though.
It's called Content Aware Tool.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta highlight little areas and then just move them to the next area, press enter, and then click off. It doesn't leave for a clean line, so I don't use that very often either. It's not a tool that I would go to. I do use a lot of this clone tool, clone stamping. This is always have been my go-to tool. So I can zoom in, kind of correct this. So if I hold the option button down and click on this, see how I'm just cleaning this picture up, and I can go through a picture fairly quickly to edit the picture. Sometimes on these other brushes, the healing brush, you get some strange colors, and you'd have to go back. So I do real small sweeps, right, to kind of clean this up. And you kind of are drawing with it. You don't want to have any sharp lines.
And then using the clone tool, is that what you're doing?
Pardon?
What are you doing? The content? I don't understand how this works.
This is the I'm using the healing brush tool now. The
Oh,
healing
okay.
brush tool. I'll give a tutorial on that
Okay.
that other brush next class. But this healing brush tool, you see, it's just really to clean up edges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of smudges that you have. I just want to emphasize the clone stamp tool, right? Do you have that down? The clone stamp. So I'm going to take some of these bumps out of this horse. You use the option button and click for where you're picking up the information, the good information, to replace the mistake that's in the photo, right? So here, this information's good, right? I'll zoom in. I've got a speck here on this picture, and I want to take it out. See it? It's like a little white speck. So I go where information is good. I click on my option button and click with my mouse. I let go of the option button and my mouse, and I go over to where the little scratch is, and I click. And that scratch goes away because it took the information from somewhere else where I clicked and placed it there. So if I wanted to fit this little scratch, that's how I would do it. Sometimes those brushes will just fuzz up lines, and it'll look like it's been painted or look like it's been corrected. So you can't go wrong with this clone stamping tool. So I'm just going through here and click, clean, click, clean, right? That's all you do. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these are very important tools. So we're cleaning up these wild horses. Chances are no editor would say clean up these, muddy horses in the field, but it's a great picture to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So it just has a lot of, drama in it and so forth. It's a great picture. So I see a couple little spots over here. I can just use my healing brush. I'm going to zoom in, just make some healing brush, clean that up, right? So you zoom in, you zoom out, you look at your picture. You want to make sure that you stop and start, right? You click and pull. You don't want to just keep painting or drawing with these spot healing tools. They've got to be little short bursts when you do your work. So you may have to click over it a couple times till it works. Forward, backward, sideways, till you get the look that you want. And so I don't like this brushing look. I'm going to go back to my clone stamp on this particular example and just color this in a bit to make it look more real. So Photoshop experts can have a lot of control over how pictures will look. The idea is to make them look as natural as possible. So Photoshop is a very handy tool to have. So we did that. Let's do one more thing. We'll put a little filter on this. Let's put a filter on our picture. We'll go to the filter gallery, and I just want you to try to do some cool filters. Now, this particular filter is called the sponge, and I could see this being used in an illustration. I was going to show you this in Illustrator, but some of these tools I can do. It's a pretty powerful picture. When it's done this way, it looks very like an illustrated painting that you might see in a Western magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So these tools in filters can give you looks that would look appropriate for like a magazine. So I'm in Sponge from under Artistic, Sponge. My brush is 2, 5, and 5. And I'll say okay, and here's the look. Well, if our art director said, you know what, Barbara, I like this look, but I'd really like to see these mountains in the back, I could put a filter on this, right? Put a little mask, rather. Put a mask, use my black brush, real soft brush, and I could try to bring those mountains back, right? So I'm just brushing, and you can see in my layers that this is brushing back. So if I just keep circling over these, I'm getting this mountain range back. And I'm getting some of this background back. So my brush is set at 11% with a black brush, right, on my filter. And I'm just kind of circling around on here. Make sense? So I'm kind of removing that filter. The filter stays on the horses, but it doesn't, I really don't want that background to be affected too much. And then I could go in with a smaller brush and get this area up here. So who has finished the handout that I gave you had questions, right, on what you were gonna turn in?
Well, I gotta go in there and do that because
Yeah, has anyone did the actual paperwork on the project yet?
I did.
Oh, you did? Kaya's up on things. Kaya, what's going on in your life that you got your act together?
Nah, not much.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing you. So you can do multiple things with all of these things that we've created to kind of, add a little more drama to this picture. So some key things we learned today was what's Command J do?
That's add another layer, right?
Yep, perfect. It'll copy the layer. It'll copy it. How about our brackets? What do our brackets do?
Move so left to the right. Make sure brush bigger or smaller. Moving left or right.
So look, it makes your brush bigger or smaller, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a handy tool no matter what tool you're on, right? So it doesn't matter. I'm going to different tools, even my patch tool or my healing brush, it just makes it bigger, right? So that's plus and minus. What else did we learn? We did Command Z, undo. Command D is deselect. Command S is save. Command copy is C. Command C. Command paste is Command V. What other tool did we go over today? We talked about
The spot healing brush.
spot healing brush.
And
We did the didn't we do the object selection tool, right?
yeah, object selection tool.
Yeah.
Patch tool.
The patch tool, very good. So some different tools, some you may like, some you may not like. They can do different things. You can add another filter to this. So let's say I have this picture and this layer is on top. I can actually change this opacity a bit so that I'm bringing in, so if I drop this opacity of this picture to 78, I'm actually changing this. But look, I'm starting to see this ghost horse, right? Because that's from the original.
Right.
So you could make little ghost horses in the background if you wanted to. I don't know if that's how, is that how you made your ghosts? Brooke, did you do opacity?
Yeah, I did.
You just call her Brooke.
Or did I, Blake? I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah,
Karen,
you did call me Brooke. I don't care.
You're like right in class. You're right up on that. Like you're listening to me. Holy bananas! I can't believe you caught that.
Yeah, that's what I did. I changed the opacity and then I colored them into I colored them I think a brownish color.
Okay.
So they matched the background more. But yeah, that's what I did.
Very cool. So that if we would have saved this, before we put the filter on, we would have been okay. And I still have that ghost image in here from putting that filter on and kind of brushing this down. When I painted this down so much, I'm starting to see the ghost of that horse. So I'm going to have to paint that back in white so that it's not painted in so much. Because I'm starting to see things that, are showing through too much in the, I've got to keep an eye on that layer. Next class, if Karen can send me that that image, I'm going to try to have us do an illustration taking Photoshop and taking it into another app. So Illustrator, to do some unique things, creative things to your file. So we don't have like a cowboy western magazine around here, but I could see this being in an illustration in a magazine. Our people might want to have this cropped, so I'd like you to use the crop tool. Now the crop tool is here on the third item down on the left hand side, crop tool. It gives you different options here. So it looks like a fence here or a piece of screen. If we go to what is called the golden spiral, and we start moving this crop tool in, see how this looks like, and if you click and hold, you can kind of see what we call a nautilus. So this,
Where did you get the golden circle?
it's here, it's a golden spiral. It's actually, it looks like the outside of a shell.
Mm-hmm.
So if you cut a seashell in half, like a snail shell, it's actually that shape. It's called a nautilus, and they call it the golden spiral in Fibonacci's. This is all done on a mathematical equation through, and it gives you the location of where pertinent information should be. So I can't turn this, but I can. This Fibonacci. There's also the rule of thirds. So if you could pull the rule of thirds in, the rule of thirds are broken up into brackets. So these points where these intersection lines meet is generally where our eyes go. So we're going to try to pull the rule of thirds in. That picture was fairly well cropped already. The way that it was cropped this way, it's interesting because of how these horses' heads meet from side to side, and that there's a lot of room over here for your mind to rest. So it really was a very well composed picture, and that was cropped. In cropping, though, this rule of thirds is important. This is a place where your eyes, that there should be information. So at this point, we read left to right, down, down. So in these little overlaps is generally where information overlaps. So that is where you would want information. Sometimes people will try to put these right on an eyeball. And you can see in this instance, if I do this, I'm cropping like a lot of this picture down to get it to an eye. And this is sort of what photographers will do when they're cropping. So this picture is not as strong in looking at it as a visual as the picture that we had to begin with. So you kind of want to be careful when you're cropping. As well as composing imagery, it's very important you kind of take a lot of pictures of what you're taking. So when I shoot, and I've shot in weddings, and I've been a camera operator since, I don't even want to tell you, like 40 years. So I have all kinds of cameras and shot all kinds of formats and worked in a photo studio and did it for a living. When you compose imagery and you have a camera in front of you, you don't want to just take one of the same picture. So if you're trying to compose and take photography pictures, take 3 of the same subject. 1, 2, 3. You tell them, smile, 1, 2, 3, or say, make a funny face for the second picture and then be goofy on the third picture. It's very important because people will have terrible expressions and they'll look at your photographs and they'll be like, I'm not going to buy them. And you have to be able to move one head to another head. So we'll talk about that next class. we'll take some pictures, group shots of people with different expressions on looks on their face.
Mhm.
I've retouched family photos with using like 12 different images, and of those 12 different images, 3 images of each of those images. So you can see the numbers get very, very high, and you have to kind of cut and paste faces and for group pictures in. It can be a very tedious. So we'll talk about that next class. Does anyone have any group? Anyone have any good family group pictures that need to be retouched?
Not really. I don't know. I have to see.
Yeah, they'd have to be pretty clear. They can't be like old, like 110 camera photos. They got to be almost spot on. I have a bunch of them. I'll bring to next class and I'll show you how to navigate pictures from one to the next. So who's got questions? It's 11:40.
I just have like for project 3 when you sent us that the answer sheets.
Yeah.
I have to go in there and I have to like command. Do I have to copy paste it and put it in my Word to answer that to send it to you?
Yeah, well, you'll just open it up in Microsoft Word and type in that line. Right.
Okay.
You're not going to handwrite. So I'll bring that document up. Do you guys all have it? Can you all open that file up?
What's it called?
It should be GRAD230 Project 3.
Do you want us to send you this horse picture?
No, you know what? We'll just share screens. I just want to see that you have it done.
Am I going into email for that, Miss Winky?
I don't know. Where did you save it? Did you download it?
No, I haven't downloaded it.
Oh, yeah. You always, whenever someone sends you directions, you always want to download it, right? And put it where you want to keep it, because
when did you send it to us? Project 3 here. Okay. Then hit download.
Yeah, download it.
Okay. And then
open it. Right, you downloaded it.
Yeah, it's opening. I gotta wait for it to open. I didn't click it too many times.
It's taking a while. Yeah, what day did I send that, Karen? What's the?
You sent it on Monday at 11:40 a.m.
There it
My
is.
name's like popping up and down. I wonder if I clicked.
So yeah, you wanna double click on this, or click on the drop down, or click on the. This says download, and it will. Here's everything that's downloaded, right?
Yeah, so okay, it's
so
opening
you
now.
can either double click on here and it'll open up, or
Okay,
open it up in Word. So this also gets filled out. Yeah, so these can be kind of tricky because you got to think about what your composition is going to be. So there's even like an area of sketching. So it's really important as a graphic designer to kind of pre-think what you're doing. Often what happens, and this is kind of how life is, you are doing it as you're learning. The idea though is if you were to make a pitch to a client, you would pre-draw it and then create that pitch, right? You would pitch your idea to someone, meaning you've pre-thought about it. You really want to get into that habit of having something pre-visualized instead of like doing it and then drawing it out. So it's really important if you're a freelancer that you're able to express your ideas prior to delivering them, because that's more of a creative director. You're getting, once you can do that, you're more of a creative director. So like these things are,
I have to redo mine.
pardon?
I might have to redo mine. It was kind of hard to fill that out.
It might be, yeah. If you didn't get it right the first time, did you just, because you can just type, what images
Yeah.
have you selected?
Just typed it and then I saved as. I
Sitting
copied
on a
the name.
chair, thinking whatever you're
That's why I
thinking.
just sent the images with my thing.
Yeah, you want to pair this up to whatever you created.
How
So-
do I close my? Oh my god!
So
I'm
how do
trying to close this down a little because I'm trying to shrink it down because I have a question. I can't even see like the whole full screen. Like I highlighted what I want.
Okay, so this is what you could do is from your name, you could even highlight this, copy it, like right, just Command C, and then paste it into a new document. File to new, Command V, and here's the document. Right? Just copy paste it.
Let's see.
Command C, copy paste. What, Karen, I don't understand. What do you want to happen?
I can't even get out of my screen to like shrink this down so I can see you.
Hit the escape button in the corner, right? Hit the escape button.
Okay, all right.
Now it worked, right?
Yeah.
Okay, always the escape button. So you could just copy paste this, right? Into a new Word document, and then you're going to click in the document, what images have you selected. So here's where that information was, right, Karen? You just highlight it with your mouse, right? Command C, you open up a new Word document, Command V. Then you
That's what I was trying to do, and it wouldn't.
Then you can type in what, the 5 images you've selected. What type of story do you hope to express? 5 emotions that maybe a viewer would have. What kind of emotions would be? They're happy, sad, they're intrigued, they're questioning what you're trying to say. Who's your audience? Who is this for? Assad's thinking of a sports theme. So maybe he wants to be in Bill's football gear. And this goes up on the Bill's Mafia Facebook page when he's done with it.
I wasn't really sure how to answer question 6. Were you just wanting to pick out of the elements what we were trying to go for?
Oh, yeah. 10 is a lot, but the styles would be maybe some of these designers that we've seen, right? Like Jerry Uelsman. We talked about some of the photographers. And who was the other guy? Eric, right? What was Eric's last name? It's escaping me. The guy that we saw with the multiple images? Janssen, was it? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so. I don't remember his last name. He had his own website.
Yeah. So that would be kind of like who your inspiration is. I guess that's where I'm looking for. So I think I got his name on here. Jerry Uelsman. And this was Eric Johnson. So you might want to say these two inspired you. This is my cat. I don't know if I help inspire you. I don't know. You got to get 10 maybe different designers or think of 10 different people. You might have to go online.
Send it to you then because I wasn't sure.
So clear. And then what is your plan of attack? Obviously, you're going to want to take the pictures, right? But you want to pre-plan it.
Right.
You want to think of what's your story, take the pictures, and then you have to edit them, right?
Yeah.
So the hand drawing sketches of what you would be creating, you could draw something up in Illustrator and, just save it and then paste it in here. or even in Photoshop. Like you could draw in Photoshop. It's not easy to draw, but you could. So for Karen's sake, I could quad this up into 6 spots, grab a black brush, and actually draw out my stick figures, right? Or you could draw it out, take a picture of it, and send it to me, right? This is taking some time to try to create this, but I'll show you how to draw him. So here's, I'm going to want a real tiny little brush, and I could just draw my little stick people, right? So I could say I'm going to have Superman, or this could be Supergirl, right? I'll have my little cape. And I could, I don't know, get people flying. Ooh, and that's supposed to be a cape. And I guess this looks kind of silly. I'd have to work on my picture here because their arms are all goofed up. But you get the idea. Might not want to.
Right.
Yeah, let me go. We don't want that. But you get the idea of what you could do. I saw some great pictures the other day where someone took sidewalk chalk and they took little kids. So they had like weights. They took sidewalk chalk and they made weights. And then they posed the little kids as if they were lifting the weights. So it was like these little girls that were lifting weights. And then someone drew balloons in sidewalk chalk. And the balloons are flying away. And these 2 little girls, real girls, were sitting posed on the sidewalk as if they were flying away. It was very cute, like the 2, they must have been sisters, were holding on to one another as if they were being flown away. So it was really cool. So you could tell a story like that. Be as creative as you want, You could do sidewalk chalk and then have someone pose on the sidewalk chalk. Or maybe you're posed on the sidewalk chalk. I don't know if you're interested in doing that, but that's an idea. So anyway, any questions or concerns? Do I still have all you guys here?
I'm here. I'm just I can't get this to paste, and so maybe I was waiting till after class for you to help me because I don't know.
2 seconds to share your screen. Everyone go through their screen for the ending, the grand finale. We'll do a share.
Oh, I'm just gonna share this because I had too many things going.
Well, then close some of them down, Karen. You don't need everything open. All right, highlight. Is that what you're trying to copy?
Yeah, well, I was trying to do
Click
this.
before the Y in your, right? Click before the Y in your, in the upper left-hand corner. Oh, that's Assad. Assad sharing. Okay, Assad, you're good. If you can copy paste that all into another document.
Okay, just
send that to me. Yeah, you don't have to send all the directions back, right? Just that sheet.
All right.
You know what I mean? So you click before. Okay, you're good. All right, who's next? Who wants to share?
I'll share.
Kaya, you can share whatever you got on your screen, your directions or your graphic. Good, good. You learn anything new?
Not really, but it was still fun.
Okay. As long as it's fun, as long as you guys aren't being bored, you think you can apply some of this to your project?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the important part, is that you see how you can apply how to use this. How about Blake?
Yeah.
Oh, she
What are we
was
sharing?
sleeping, I think. Whatever you did, your Photoshop or your Word document of what you were. Okay, did you have fun?
Yeah.
Can you see how you could use some of this in your project?
Yeah, I actually really like Photoshop. Before, I didn't like it, but now that I'm like recapping on it, I don't know. I'm enjoying it more than Adobe Illustrator right now.
Really? Yeah, it can get you. I mean, it got me for years. I was totally into Photoshop over Illustrator. Ooh,
Like,
that's gonna look cool.
I started to do like. Have you ever seen Narnia?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. That's the closet, right?
I'm just having some trouble. I'm like putting snow right here, so it looks like it was like up against it.
Oh yeah, or even have some snow on the ground.
I was gonna do
Melting.
that, but it's a little more complicated. I might just copy the snow and like I don't know if I can. Oh damn!
Who said the oh damn?
I did.
Oh, okay. So who are you gonna put in there? Are you gonna be in this cupboard?
No, I'm just doing this for fun.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was having trouble with the snow like on the floor, so that's why I decided to. I'm still working on the door, but I decided to put some of the white so like it was closed, so it's on the bottom.
I get it.
But
I get it. I would have some drop on the ground.
yeah,
I think it would be cool if you did that. Are you gonna put the little guy? Wasn't he like a goat? Wasn't he a goat man?
it was like he was a man half. The top half was a man, and the bottom half was goat legs.
Yeah. So what was his name? He was Thomas.
Thomas. Well,
Thomas.
I
You
could
could
have
put
put like the
Thomas.
actual Narnia thing. I just like grabbed one that was just like this,
Oh yeah. Good find.
but
Very
I don't know if I'm gonna put people in it. I was just doing it for fun.
I like it. I like how you think that Narnia, if anyone has ever seen it, it's about these kids that go through a closet door and end up in a fantasy world. It's a really good movie, and it kind of is like how we think, or we should be thinking, because it's that much into creativity. It's
I would
I
say
have those audio books.
Isn't there a lion in there? Because I'm pretty sure I cried when it died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they made a second movie too.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
but
if I've seen it.
he came
Voice of the
back.
Monster.
The lion came back
Oh wait, you know what? I did see that.
because the lion was slain on the rock that she couldn't slay the lion on. So
Yeah,
yeah, something about that stone had
I
some
have.
significance. So
I definitely suggest, like, if you have time, listening to the audiobooks because of how the author like reads it. It's pretty good.
oh, I'd love to. I'll have to try to find them. Great tip. It might be fun this week. Okay, Assad, what do you got? Or no, Karen. We got to show Karen.
What? I didn't.
What do you got to show? You okay?
No.
Just show us your horses.
All right. I put the horse back in there, but if I move this.
Yeah, you're fine. So
Okay.
save your picture. Save your picture before you know, when you close these down, okay? Everyone okay?
Yeah.
All right, you guys. We're good till next week?
Miss Wakey, I need your help.
Okay, what do you need a hand with, Karen?
Have a good day, guys.
All right,
Okay,
you too. Karen,
bye.
what do you need a hand
Bye.
with?
All right.
Karen,
What?
what do you need a hand with?
Saving this.
Open that up
this thing
bigger.
for
Make that file
free.
bigger, Karen. Make this bigger and I'll help you with it, okay? So grab it by the corner. Okay, so we're just going to try to grab those questions, right?
Right.
So you're going to grab it from the Y, you're all the way down to the end of number 8, right? So click and drag your mouse down.
It keeps bouncing.
Well, click and drag your mouse down.
Okay.
Copy, Command C.
Command C, right?
Then go to File to New,
Do I have to,
File to New, File to New Document, right?
yeah,
And then say OK. So Command V is in victory. Good.
it works
now
for
go
you,
to
like, what I was
File
trying
to
to do, maybe I did
save.
something wrong.
Karen, go to File to Save and save this as your GRAD230 Project 3 questions. And then that's all you really have to do.
Okay, GRAD230, Project 3.
Yep, that's all you got to do. All right, so you good?
Yeah, hold on, 230, and then I'll just put a question mark in there so I know it's questions.
Okay, perfect. You feel?
And then just hit, and then after that, I would just, and then just hit save. And then it'll be in my documents, right?
Yes.
Or, yeah, documents. Or should I go to, not applications, but documents?